let's talk about what today's topic is about. Today's topic is titled, Separation is not always desolation. Okay? Separation is not always desolation. What does that mean? Okay, so like I said, we have all experienced some type of separation, whether it was from a friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, family member. We have all experienced separation. We have, and then we will continue to experience some type of separation. And this separation could be that a relationship just fizzles out. This can be that you broke up with someone. This can be a divorce for some people. This can be even death. Ugh. Even death, which is the hardest separation of all times because it is irreversible. But separation does not always mean desolation, okay? It does not always mean desolation. It doesn't mean that everything is over. It doesn't mean that you cannot continue on in life. You cannot continue on in business. You will not have another relationship, another marriage. That's not what it means. So I'm going to share with you a few things that I learned that has helped me. And even in the process of going through, a few things falling off, a few people falling off here and there in my personal life, like in my life, even on the business side, I just want you to know that it's okay. It's okay. It happens. Okay. It happens. Sometimes it's your fault. Sometimes it's not your fault. But the thing is, we have to understand that separation is not always a bad thing. It doesn't always mean desolation. So here's how you can handle separation. Number one, you have to know when it's time to let go. Now, I kind of briefly touched on this on my live last night, and you can watch the replay. But briefly, I just hit it like, boom, just a little bit. But we have to learn how to let go. We have to have the wisdom to know when it's time to stop holding on so tight to something or someone whose season has ended in our lives. It is time to know when to let go. And there are always signs. You might feel it in some people out here say feel it in their belly. You feel it in your spirit. The signs are always there. Excuse me. The signs are always there when it is time to let go. And as hurtful as it is, especially if someone is very close to you, you got to let it go, because there are seasons for everything. There is a season for everything, and sometimes it is a season for that person or that particular season or that thing in your life to die off so that something can be born. Okay, so know when to let go. Don't ignore your feelings. Don't ignore the signs. Don't ignore the signs, especially if you are dealing with someone in a relationship, like a boyfriend, girlfriend, something like that. There are always signs, and you might even hear yourself say it, but don't even know that you're saying it. That's telling you there's a sign. There are always signs, but know when to let it go. It's okay to let things go when it no longer serves you. Another way to help with separation is to learn to embrace the change that comes along with separation. We have to know when to embrace, or we have to know how to embrace change. You got to know how to embrace change. Life is going to have multiple changes. That's inevitable. We are not going to go through life and there not be a change. There's a change just from the tens of years that you live. From 10 to 20, you are going to feel different at 20 than you were 10. At 30, you're going to feel different than you did at 20. At 40, you're going to feel different than you did at 30. Learn to embrace the change. Embrace where you are. Embrace the change that is going to come from that separation. Like I said, it might hurt at first, but embrace it, because it's all for a reason. Okay, it's all for a reason, especially when people remove themselves out of your lives, or when a client removes themselves out of your lives, and there's no word, there's no nothing. You have to learn how to embrace the change that comes along with it and say, okay, let me just embrace this. Let me embrace that this is no longer looking like what I'm used to it looking like, okay? Which leads me to my next thing. Acknowledge the hurt and heal. The only way that we can heal from any type of hurt is to be able to acknowledge it first and acknowledge that there is hurt there. Okay, acknowledge that there is hurt there, and then learn how to let it go. Learn how to deal with it. If you got to scream, cry, jump, slap, clap, well, don't slap nobody, but clap, whatever you need to do, then learn how to acknowledge that I'm hurting, and then acknowledge that, okay, now that I know that I'm hurting, I need to take the right steps to be able to heal from this particular thing. Okay, that's how we can learn how to operate and work through separation of any type. You have to acknowledge, because it will be hurtful. Like I said, it will be hurtful, but there is, whenever there's hurt, whenever there's sickness, whenever there's disease, whenever there's anything like this, there is always an opportunity for healing. Okay, so if you are hurting because of something, because of a particular, but because of a separation of a, like I said, friendship, loved one, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, then you have to learn how to acknowledge that there is hurt and that I need healing from this, so that it does not double over and grow into something else that is going to cause you harm in the end. Another way that we could deal with separation and not treat it as desolation is to see what good is going to come out of this separation. Sometimes we don't want to let go of things that are hurting us. We don't want to just let it go. Stop looking at their social media. Stop calling them. Stop taking their calls. Stop taking their emails. Stop taking their text messages. Whatever the case is. And these are for the people that are trying to come back after a separation. No, think about the good that came out of the separation. What was revealed? What was revealed during this time of separation? What light? What did the light shine upon during the separation? And then even more so, let's think about what is there to gain for the separation when we're holding on to things that are literally trying to fizzle out. And a lot of times God has a way of removing things and removing people out of your life for a reason. Then you need to understand that there is something always good to be gained from this particular thing. Another thing is, what is there to learn from the separation? So say, for example, if it was let's just use a relationship. If it was a bad relationship, okay, what did you, and now that the person has moved out of your life, what is there to be learned from that separation, from that relationship, then from that separation that you're not going to repeat moving forward, or that you're not going to repeat in the next relationship or the next situation? What is there to learn? What is there to learn, not only about the person and what to look out for in someone else, but what is there to learn about you? What is there to learn about your feelings, how you handled it? Okay, how you didn't handle it. What is there to learn? There's always something, there's always a lesson to be learned in every situation of our lives, whether it is good or whether it is bad. But you have to remember, I will end with this because I'm making this one very short. I will end with this, that separation is not always, and it does not always mean desolation. When the season has ended, and that thing or that someone has separated or removed themselves out of your life, it is okay. And you have to be okay with saying that it is okay. You have to be okay with letting it go. You have to be okay with healing and acknowledging your hurt and then healing from the hurt. You have to be okay and know that you are not rejected because you were separated from, or because somebody walked away from you or walked out of your life. It happens in business. It happens in relationships. It happens in life. There is something to be gained when we go through a process that makes us think differently than where we were when we were in the process. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So understand, you have an amazing life ahead of you. And in order to grab a hold and take hold of the things that God has for you in full, you have to go through some separations. You have to. As painful as it will be, as painful as it was, you have to go through some separation. But separation does not always mean desolation. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope this was a blessing to you. This was a very short live. I just wanted to hit on that real quick. Please feel free, if you want any resources from me, courses, you want to work with me on your branding and your website, then I'll be more than willing to work with you. You can either DM me on any social media platform under Christyl Benford, or you can click one of the links in my bios to be able to schedule an appointment with me. I hope that you all understand that separation does not mean that you are rejected. It does not mean that you are left alone. It does not mean that you are lacking in any way, but learn from it, move forward, and live your best life. All right, guys, I'm Christyl Benford. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And tomorrow I'll be on here, Facebook and Instagram, live at 12:05. All right, guys. If you have, also, if there is a topic that you want me to talk about, leave it in the comments or DM me, and I would love to talk about it on one of my lives. Also, if you want to join me on one of my lives to talk about something in particular, then let me know that as well. And let's see what we can do to collaborate. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.